Ready to escape into a world of enchanting pixels? What is up, my peeps? And today we're going to be doing a bonus video on this book. Now, you might be thinking, Epic Dev, how on earth can you do a bonus video on this book? Well, this section right here. Apparently, in this book, there is a section that's called exactly what you see on your screen. Right there. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So, common anxiety and mood disorders. An anxiety disorder is a condition that causes exaggerated emotions to interfere with a person's ability to lead a normal life. All of us feel anxious from time to time, but a person who experiences an anxiety disorder is faced with overwhelming, debilitating feelings of fear, dread, or panic. Obsessive behaviors, characterized by recurrent, unwanted thoughts, obsessions, or undesirable repetitive behaviors, compulsions, are also considered to be anxiety-related conditions. A mood disorder is a mental health condition that has an adverse effect on a person's emotional state. The two common mood disorders are depression and bipolar disorder. Both of these conditions are further divided into subcategories based in part on the severity and duration of the person's symptoms. Mood and anxiety disorders are quite common. The National Institute of Mental Health, NIMH, estimates that almost 10% of U.S. adults will experience a mood disorder during a given year, and that over 20% of adults will experience a mood disorder sometime during their lifetime. Anxiety disorders are even more common than mood disorders. In fact, the NIMH, that's a bit of a mouthful to say, calls anxiety disorders the most common mental health concern in the United States. They estimate that currently about 40 million adults, almost 20% of the adult population, suffer from some type of anxiety-related condition. Common anxiety disorders include, but are not limited to, generalized anxiety disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, and, of course, PTSD. Both mood and anxiety disorders tend to run in families, which means they can be inherited from one or both parents. Additionally, environmental factors such as a traumatic event, a serious illness, or a significant life-changing situation can be causal factors. Clearly, mood and anxiety disorders pose serious problems for the individual sufferers and for the loved ones who care for them. Thankfully, these disorders are, in most cases, readily treatable with therapy or medication, or a combination of the two combined with self-care. The following descriptions provide a brief introduction to the above-mentioned disorders. Should you need to learn more, detailed information is readily available, and if you suspect that you or someone you care about may be impacted by one of these disorders or by mental illness not mentioned here, don't wait to seek treatment. Mental health problems can evolve into serious, debilitating, life-threatening conditions, so it's always better to seek professional guidance sooner rather than later. The most common anxiety disorders. Generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD. This condition is characterized by chronic anxiety, by exaggerated worry, tension, and oppression, even when there's no discernible cause for those feelings. GAD, which often begins in the teen years or early adulthood, develops slowly. According to NIMH, symptoms of GAD include being excessively worried about everyday things, having trouble controlling worries or feelings of nervousness, knowing that one's worries are exaggerated and excessive, feeling restless, having trouble relaxing, having difficulty concentrating, being easily startled, having trouble falling or staying asleep, feeling tired most or all the time, experiencing physical symptoms such as headaches, muscle aches, stomach aches, or unexpected pains, experiencing difficulty swallowing, experiencing twitches or tremors, being irritable or feeling on edge, sweating profusely, feeling lightheaded or out of breath. Children and teens with GAD often worry excessively about performances in school, sports, or other public activities. Catastrophes such as earthquakes or wars. Adults with GAD are often highly nervous about everyday circumstances such as job security or performance, health, finances, the health and well-being of their children, completing household chores and other responsibilities. PTSD. We all know what PTSD is, so I'm not going to read that. Please pause if you would like to read for yourself. All right. Oh, there's also OCD. We all know what this is too. So again, please pause if you would like to read. Okay then. Panic disorder. This anxiety disorder is characterized by unexpected and repeated episodes of intense fear, panic attacks, accompanied by physical and psychological symptoms that include sudden and repeated panic attacks that result in overwhelming feelings of anxiety or fear, the feeling of being out of control, the fear of death or impending doom during a panic attack, physical symptoms during a panic attack, such as pounding or racing heart, sweating, chills, trembling, breathing problems, weakness or dizziness, tingly or numb hands, tingly or numb hands, chest pain, chest pain, stomach pain, or nausea. Intense worry about when the next panic attack will occur. A fear or avoidance of places where panic attacks have occurred in the past. Social anxiety disorder, also known as social phobia. This disorder is characterized by excessive self-consciousness and overwhelming anxiety resulting from social or performance situations in which the person is exposed to unfamiliar people or possible scrutiny by others. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, I just realized that it abbreviates to SAD. Okay. No wonder why it's called that. It certainly sounds sad. Anyway. A person with social phobia fears that he or she may act in a way or may display anxiety-related symptoms that will cause embarrassment or humiliation. In extreme cases, the phobia may be so broad that the sufferer experiences symptoms almost any time he or she interacts with other people. The most common mood disorders. Major depression, also known as major depressive disorder or clinical depression. Major depression is a common, serious mood disorder. It causes severe symptoms that affect how one feels, thinks, and manages daily activities, such as sleeping, eating, or working. To be diagnosed with depression, symptoms must be present for at least 2 weeks. Symptoms include, but are not limited to, feelings of sadness, hope, or despondency, feelings of guilt, worthlessness, or helplessness, difficulty sleeping, early morning awakening, or oversleeping. Come on, you. Having noticeably less interest in usual pleasurable activities, decreased energy level, appetite or weight changes, feeling that life no longer has meaning, irritability, moving or talking more slowly, feeling restlessness or having trouble sitting still, difficulty concentrating, remembering, or making decisions. Now, YouTube, this next bullet point is a part of a book, so don't freak out when I say this. Thoughts of death, suicide, or suicide attempts. This is part of the book. So don't freak out on me, YouTube. Anyways, aches or pains, headaches, cramps, or digestive problems that have no clear physical cause. Oh, here we go. There's bipolar disorder. Yeah. We all know what bipolar disorder is, so I'm not going to read that. Please, if you would like to read this section, pause the video now. Alrighty then. Here's the same section continued. Okay then. Oh, interesting. Other common mood disorders. Persistent developing depressive disorder, or PDD. This is a chronic low-grade mood disorder in which symptoms of depression or irritability last for at least 2 years. A person diagnosed with persistent depressive disorder may experience episodes of major depression along with periods of less severe symptoms. But for a diagnosis, of persistent depressive disorder, the depressive symptoms Both major symptoms and less severe ones must last in total for at least 2 years. Postpartum depression. Many women are mildly depressed or anxious after the birth of a child. These symptoms, if they occur at all, typically clear within 2 weeks after delivery. Postpartum depression is a much more serious condition. Women with postpartum depression experience full-blown major... Wait, hold on. Major... Is it depression? Yeah, I think it's depression up there. Yeah, it is. Okay. After delivery, feelings of extreme sadness, anxiety, and exhaustion are common, thus making it difficult for mothers to care for themselves and their babies. Oh my goodness, I literally just said how the last one was sad. Huh. That's ironic. Alright. Seasonal affective disorder. The actual SAD abbreviation. Or the actual disorder that abbreviates to SAD. This is a form of depression that occurs during certain seasons of the year. Typically, SAD begins in the late autumn or early winter and lasts until spring or summer. Less commonly, SAD episodes may begin during the late spring or summer. Symptoms of winter seasonal affective disorder often resemble those of major depression. I've actually heard about this one before. I've just never read into it. Seasonal affective disorder. So that's where the term seasonal depression comes from. Okay, now I understand. Alright, a final note. For previous generations, mental illness was often spoke about in whispers. For many sufferers and their families, emotional disorders were a source of embarrassment or shame. Thankfully, this is no longer the case. Today, mental health is a top-of-mind priority for medical professionals who are keenly aware that most mental disorders have both medical as well as psychological origins. As such, most emotional disorders are now imminently treatable, thanks to advances in medical science. Healing is available through counseling, medication, or a combination of the two. If you suspect that you or someone you care about may be experiencing a mood disorder, an anxiety disorder, or any other psychiatric condition, aka mental health condition, don't hesitate to seek professional help. To fully experience God's abundance, you need to be spiritually and emotionally healthy. If mental health professionals can help you achieve the emotional stability you need to experience God's abundance here on earth, you should consider your treatment to be part of God's plan for your life. And with that, this is the actual end of this book. Alright, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Talk to y'all later.